I totaled my automobile, and my spirit and soul immediately left my body in the car and went through the tunnel we hear people talk about quickly, all the way through to the other end and out the other end into pure white light. I also was spoken to with a voice, what some people call a conversation with God. I was told immediately when I entered the pure light by a male voice, and we all hear whatever voice we need to hear in whatever language in which we need to hear it, telling me, "Lewis, you were called here to have this conversation and to be sent back because you are not doing your work." I was in this state of consciousness which was with my soul and my spirit at this source. I was no longer in my body at all. I said, "Well, I surrender, take me, I'm yours, I will do your work." And I was told immediately, "No, it's not my work you need to do, Lewis, it's your work." I then asked, "Well, what is my work?" Since I was in a place where all knowledge is known and I could feel that, I assumed I was going to be told what my work is. And instead of being told, I was asked, "Well, what is it that keeps you from being all you're capable of being?" Well, I didn't know because I thought everything was fine. So I felt something about difference that prevented my soul from connecting with the soul of another. I did not know how to bridge the gap. And when I said this in the light, in my conversation with God, then just like the best moment in the movie Amadeus when Mozart hit a perfect note and went, "There it is," the voice of God said to me, "There it is, Lewis, there is your work." And that was my conversation. I was then sent back down the entire same tunnel in white light until I remember coming into the body, until, like those tight rubber gloves, I'm not fully in until I am. And then whew, this white light disappeared and I was sitting in my automobile, a totaled automobile, badly damaged, with no physical damage. And I walked out of the car into the ambulance to tell them there's no problem. This was my real experience of my soul outside of my body, outside of my personality, outside of my ego, and outside of my human form, having a real experience at what I call the source of all energy and all spirit from which we all come. Just when I say I've been in the light and experienced all knowledge, where there's nothing but love and light and truth and peace and grace, are still not enough when you add all the words together to fully describe what I experienced. For me to share with you that I have perfect memory of every experience I had in the tunnel and in the light and in my conversation with God, and that I remember it as clearly as I'm talking to you now, is not able to be proven scientifically, because our understanding of the word memory is that it is in the brain, and the brain was in the body, and the body was in the car. So no, I cannot prove to you scientifically how I can have perfect memory of this experience. And since science does not yet know how to explain all this, there are many experiences which are very similar to how we felt when you and I tried to decide if the earth was flat or round, and science could not yet prove one or the other. Or when we tried to decide if the earth went around the sun or the sun went around the earth, because science could not describe one or the other to our left frontal lobe's satisfaction. That is where we now are in this description of our experiences out of our body. I've actually helped my father in his 90s and my mother in her 90s both understand with my guarantee where they are going with no fear, and it has helped them leave in peace. The very first experience I had in my first near-death experience when I left the automobile was exactly what I call almost a human desire to reach those that I loved and who loved me and let them know that yes, I had just left the body, but I was in such peace and grace and light and love that they should have no anxiety about where I am. They can have human sadness that I've left that form, and they should have no sadness about where I am. That was the very first thing I wished I could communicate to them. There are many people that either because of their experiences out in the light after their near-death experience, or many people without having had a crisis called a near-death experience, do have enormous access to their sensitivity and intuition and clairvoyance and ability to see clearly and feel clearly. So I'm very open to it. There's no conflict between the experience I've had in the light and that. In fact, it enhances my belief. And there's a huge change in human consciousness now compared to the past, and it continues to change. And now that we are beginning to talk more openly about it, then we are better able to hear and understand and believe other people's experiences and talk more ourselves about it. And that change is happening very quickly. My experience in the light enabled me to feel a deeper sense of spirituality, less defined by any one religion or another. So all religions, in my opinion and experience, have true spirituality at the core. And all religions, to different degrees and in different ways, are guilty of a form of righteousness that has the details of their description be perceived of as the correct ones and the others the wrong ones. So the more we come together as one and realize the common goals we have and listen to each other's spirituality and whatever we believe, actually we will start to learn that at the core we are all feeling and believing mostly the same things, and that the details that are different aren't actually so important that they deserve killing one another over them.